Now at 9, Pittsburgh State University honors those that we lost in the 9/11 tragedy. Plus, the local gym hosts a challenge in honor of the first responders from 9/11. And the Pride Festival kicked off this weekend in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
All over the 4 states and throughout the country, people remember and honor those who fell during the 9/11 attacks. This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Jalen Banks. 21 Pitt State Army ROTC members gathered today by firing a cannon in each plane involved at the northwest corner of Carney Smith Stadium. The young soldiers will also perform a push-up for every life lost 21 years ago.
As time moves on and we get more and more anniversaries, it makes it more important as a way to remember these lives, so we don't repeat history.
To find more events such as this one going on in the 4 states, you can go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. 24/7 Elite Gym and Baxter Springs Fire Auxiliary is hosting a stair climb challenge in honor of the first responders during 9/11. Every participant will climb 110 flights of stairs. Each flight represents a floor in the World Trade Center that first responders had to climb. The challenge is to honor and endure a piece of what the first responders went through on 9/11, 21 years ago today.
Just kind of a way to memorialize what they did and a way to honor them. They did it in such terrible conditions. I mean, the fire was there, the heat, smoke, they couldn't see it. They were dragging people out, helping people, carrying people.
This is the 3rd year of the 9/11 Stair Challenge by Baxter Springs and 24/7 Elite Gym. Different tribes and families came together today in Wyandotte for a powwow. Some participants described it as a time of fellowship among friends and family. There was also a contest for who could wear the most authentic native garment.
It's really just a gathering of friends and, old friends that you get to see and kind of get rid of all the bad things in your life just by dancing and listening to the drum. It's kind of like a church.
Right. To find more events in the 4 states, you can go to our events page on our website at koamnewsnow.com. The VFW of Fort Scott held a car and motorcycle show today for the public. The group encouraged those who served our country to come out and enjoy the show. Car enthusiasts came out to judge the cars. This was their inaugural car show and motorcycle show.
Just the prestige of having what you have, like that particular bike there. There's not another one around this part of the country, and it gives you a little bit of incentive on making more and participating better. So that's what it's all about.
The VFW says they intend to have this event for more years to come. This weekend was the Jomo Pride Festival. Today was the last day of the festival that promotes diversity and freeness. Some events included a talent show, bingo, live music, and everything was capped off with a dance party.
We took over the festival in 2018. It used to be just held exclusively at the park. Once we brought it to downtown, it expanded quite substantially. So every year we've been just trying to add a little bit more and make it a little bit bigger and better every year. Right now we're on track to, eclipse Springfield's Pride Fest, and we're almost on track to eclipse Tulsa's Pride Fest. So that's our goal.
Well, it's been a hot one. Let's see if that continues. Sam, what do we have?
Yeah, it's been a pretty nice day across the area. We were forecasting cooler temperatures, but it looks like summer's going to be making a return. We'll get to that in a second. Radar's clear right now, and it's been that way all afternoon. We made it up to 77 today after starting out at a cool 57, which was below normal, both for the high and the low. But keep in mind, we can still be 100 degrees at this time of year. 2000, we were at 100 degrees and 44 back in 1968. We only picked up less than 1/10 of an inch of rain, and I wish we had more rain to go around, but unfortunately that's all we had with this storm system. Temperatures this afternoon, like I said, were in the mid to upper 70s across the area, even a few 80s thrown in, but it looks like it's going to get much warmer as we go through the forecast, so you want to stay tuned.
President Biden, First Lady Jill Biden, and Vice President Harris all attended 9/11 ceremonies to pay tribute to the nearly 3,000 lives lost during 9/11. Fox News White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich is at the White House with more.
The president, first lady, and vice president fanned out at each of the 3 attack sites to pay tribute to the lives lost. In New York, Vice President Harris observed moments of silence at the 9/11 memorial at Ground Zero, followed by a reading of the victims' names. And in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, First Lady Jill Biden was joined by her sister, a United Airlines flight attendant. She shared the sorrowful pride her sister felt that day that her fellow flight attendants, along with their passengers, helped down their plane to save an untold number of lives in the nation's capital. And at the Pentagon, President Biden marked the 21st anniversary at a somber wreath-laying ceremony where he recounted what the late Queen Elizabeth told the American people in the aftermath of the attacks.
Grief is the price we pay for love. Many of us experienced that grief, and you've all experienced it. And on this day, when the price feels so great, Jill and I are holding all of you close to our hearts.
Biden affirmed his commitment to hold al-Qaeda responsible and prevent another attack, citing last month's CIA drone strike, which killed the group's leader. And he said the anniversary is a chance to renew resolve to defend democracy. But he did not make any politically charged statements, as he recently has when talking about defending democracy as an issue in the midterm elections. Tomorrow, the president heads to Boston, where he'll tout investments from the infrastructure law and his cancer moonshot initiative. But because this is official White House travel and not a campaign stop, it's less likely that he makes any politically charged statements or takes any swipes at Republicans. At the White House, Jackie Heinrich, Fox News.
People across the United Kingdom will have a chance to say goodbye to Queen Elizabeth II this week. A hearse will bring her coffin from Scotland, where she passed away, to London for her funeral. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard has more.
Queen Elizabeth II begins her final journey as preparations are made for her funeral. It's a farewell fit for a queen. A hearse carrying Queen Elizabeth II left Balmoral Castle Sunday morning, traveling through towns and villages in Scotland as it made its way to the capital of Edinburgh.
Scotland's one of her favourite places, and I think it's brilliant.
I was in tears, like a lot of other people, I think, here. She's going to be greatly missed.
The late Queen will remain in Edinburgh through Monday, while the public pays their respects. Later this week, she'll be brought to London's Westminster Hall and Lion State. Troops there will hold a round-the-clock vigil before the Queen's funeral next Monday.
All these crowds and expression of emotion is the enduring command that the British monarchy holds over the emotions of people in Britain.
Across the Commonwealth, people are welcoming their new king, Charles III. On Saturday, he greeted crowds across London as he was officially proclaimed monarch. His sons, William and Harry, along with their wives, Catherine and Meghan, presented a united front as they thanked the public for their support.
And I think they've learned an awful lot, and I hope we put it to good use. I think it'll be brilliant.
After the Queen's funeral, her coffin will travel to Windsor before being laid to rest inside St. George's Chapel. In London, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
We now take time to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Lance Corporal Landon Packard served in Iraq from 2004 till 2007. The Chautauqua, Kansas native earned a plethora of awards, including the Combat Action Medal and Expert Marksman Medal. To Lance Corporal Landon Packard, we thank you, our four-state hero. And coming up, how high artificial sweetener can lead to heart disease. A new study finds there might be a link between a certain artificial sweetener and heart disease. Studied the dietary information of more than 100,000 people who consumed artificial sweeteners, often for 9 years. They analyzed the artificial sweeteners from various dietary sources, including dairy products and sodas, looking specifically at types containing aspartame, acesulfame, and sucralose. Analysts found that the overall intake of artificial sweeteners was related to higher chances of heart diseases. Insomnia can increase memory loss and dementia risk among older adults. That's according to recent findings by researchers in Canada. Analysts studied the data of more than 26,000 people between the ages of 45 and 85 for 3 years. They divided volunteers into 3 categories: those without any sleeping problems, participants with insomnia symptoms, and those who potentially developed insomnia. The scientists evaluated the volunteers' memory and sleep. They found participants with insomnia scored lower on memory tests than those who didn't have it. Researchers say the participants with insomnia had a higher chance of developing anxiety and depression. Philips is warning users of a certain sleep therapy mask about a potential safety risk. The company is recalling 5 of its sleep mask types worn by people who have BiPAP or CPAP machines. The sleep masks affected are DreamWisp, AmeriView, DreamWear, Wisp, and Wisp without mask, and Therapy Mask 3100. The masks have magnets that could interfere with functioning of certain implanted metallic medical devices. This could cause injury or death. Users should check with medical providers, Philips website, and the FDA.gov pages for more information. Some patients are finding it hard to fill the Adderall prescriptions. Consumers and pharmacies across the country are reporting a shortage of the drug, commonly used to help treat people with attention deficit disorder. One expert from Rush University Medical Center in Chicago says the shortage is starting to scare some patients, especially during the back-to-school season. He believes the scarcity is due in part to higher demand, abuse of medication, and FDA limits. The FDA is not currently sounding the alarm on an Adderall shortage, and experts remind patients to continue filling their prescriptions at licensed pharmacies and with medical professionals only. And Sam Lane will join us with a look at the forecast next. And later, the Chiefs began their season today, and Danny Terzo has those highlights next.
Shelter insurance for you.
Well, friends, there was lots of sunshine for your Sunday across the area, and that was a welcome change, as well as some cooler temperatures. So that was pretty nice too. It's nice this evening down in Seneca, Missouri at the Indigo Casino and Resort, as well as across the entire four-state area. Let's take a look at the rainfall. We don't have any rain on radar right now. It's all clear, but we did have some rain yesterday. And as expected, most of the heaviest rain was up towards the north. I wish we could have had a little bit more here in the Joplin area. We ended up with less than 1/10 of an inch of rain. That's hardly a spit in a bucket, and that's not going to help our drought situation, as we're still in the extreme category across a large section of southeastern Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and southwestern Missouri. We desperately need some rainfall. It's affecting our lake levels as well. Grand Lake is about 1 foot below normal right now. Also below normal is Beaver Lake at around 1 1/3 foot below normal, and Table Rock is about 3 feet below normal right now at 911.79, but the champion is Stockton. They're almost 5 feet below normal because of the lack of rainfall. So we desperately need some water to get into our streams and creeks to fill up those lakes. The allergies was better today, at least that was good, 7.9 out of 12. Tomorrow it's going to start creeping back up again, so get ready for the sniffles. All right, temperatures right now are in the 60s across our area, even some 50s showing up, 59 degrees in Parsons, and check out Stockton. They're 56 cool degrees right now. In Joplin, we're sitting at 62. Feels like 62. That's a change. Calm wind right now. And look at the dew point, 47. That's kind of an indication of where we're going this evening. By morning, we should see temperatures in the upper 40s in some locations and lower 50s. I think we're going to drop down to around 52, 53 by 7 a.m. and 50s in a large part of the area. Wouldn't be surprised to see some upper 40s in some of those colder sheltered valleys. Then tomorrow we're going to see highs in the mid 80s once again, especially out towards the west where they could reach upper 80s. Coffeyville, DeVille, 86, 86 in Parsons, 83 in Mount Sinai, and a little bit cooler up in Osceola with temperatures in the upper 70s. Then as we go through Tuesday morning, we're going to see lows once again in the 50s. Not as cool because the winds are going to be switching around to the south and our dew points are going to increase just a little bit, but at least it'll be nice and cool. Then on Tuesday afternoon, a wind shift line is going to make an appearance up to the north, but it's not really going to do too much as far as any clouds or precipitation, with temperatures getting close to 90 degrees once again across our area. Then as we go through Wednesday morning, we'll see lows once again in the 60s and a few 50s thrown in like at Columbus with 59. All right, let's look at the next 7 days. 84 tomorrow, a warm day. Then as we go into Tuesday, 90, 91 on Wednesday, 90 on Thursday, 90 on Friday. You kind of see the pattern here. as we head towards next weekend, maybe an isolated storm on Sunday, but look at the extended. It gets even hotter. Almost record levels by Wednesday. In fact, I am forecasting a record high of 98 for Wednesday. That's just unbelievable this time of year. And unfortunately for the next 90 days, it's going to be warmer than normal. And also we're expecting drier than normal for the next 3 months. So Jalen, it looks like the drought continues.
When you see 90s, whether it be a money amount or grades, normally you smile. But 90s in September.
Yeah, 90s in September do not match.
Yeah, that is a no-go. But all right, thank you, Sam.
You're welcome.
Begins plans for a new astronaut will use during their next mission. NASA just signed a contract to create its next generation spacesuits for astronauts. NASA is granting Axiom Space $228 million to build spacesuits for its upcoming mission. The suits will be used during NASA's Artemis 3 mission, which aims to land the first woman of color and on the moon by 2025 or 2026. The company will be responsible for the design, development, qualification, certification, and production of the items. Axiom Space says the spacesuit design will include life support, pressure garments, and avionics. Tesla says it wants to build a refinery system for its lithium batteries, and it wants it in Texas. Tesla filed an application with Texas controller officials in August to build a battery-grade lithium hydroxide plant on Texas's Gulf Coast. The plant would process raw ore material into a usable state to make batteries. The automaker says the plant would use less hazardous materials and create usable byproducts. If approved, the plant could begin construction later this year and be completed in 2024. Congressional lawmakers want to know more about how airlines have used COVID relief funds. House Democratic Representatives Carolyn Maloney and James Clyburn asked the Treasury Department to do a thorough investigation to see if the money was potentially used for pilot buyouts, early retirements, or staff reductions, which the lawmakers believe could have contributed to the pilot shortage in the airlines and the thousands of flight delays and canceled during the summer. Maloney and Clyburn say the funds were given to ensure airlines preserve jobs and compensate workers. The representatives asked for the evaluation by September 22nd. And coming up, how a retired RN jumps in to save an infant on a flight to Orlando. A retired nurse ran to the back of a plane and saved a three-month-old infant who had stopped breathing during a flight. Scott Heidler reports.
Tamara Panzino was already in vacation mode 35 minutes into her Spirit Airlines flight Thursday night from Pittsburgh to Orlando.
I was reading my book, not paying attention, had my earbuds in, and I heard a flight attendant say, "We have an infant not breathing."
Soon after, an announcement came over the PA. Is there a doctor on board? Tamara got up and ran to the back of the plane.
I didn't know what I was dealing with. I saw an infant. The head was just back and blue lips, and my heart just dropped.
Even though Tamara is a retired RN, the years of experience kicked in. A round of questions revealed that the infant was not doing anything when she stopped breathing.
Gave daddy the baby, held it while I did a sternal rub, kind of an aggressive shake of the chest.
They were then moving to the front of the plane when
The baby's color started looking better, and I was so glad, but I kept shaking it aggressively.
she did not have to perform CPR, calls it a team effort.
He said the Spirit airline had everything we needed right on board, and before we knew it, we knew within a couple minutes that the baby was, we were home free. The baby was going to be good. The color came back. I heard breathing sounds, heard a heartbeat, and
what was that feeling when you saw that?
oh my gosh, total relief.
Tamara pushes back on being called a hero.
No, it's not a hero thing. It's a community coming together and everyone volunteering to do what their knowledge can help them do, and I'm glad I was there.
Now, after a day to decompress, Tamara is ready for her and her husband's Caribbean cruise out of Port Canaveral.
We'll be back with more news and weather and sports after this. First Lady Jill Biden spoke at a 9/11 ceremony in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, honoring the brave passengers who took on their hijackers on United Flight 93. Fox News correspondent Charles Watson has that story.
The bells of remembrance ring out in the names of the 40 passengers and crew who died aboard United Flight 93 21 years ago today after the hijacked plane crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. First Lady Jill Biden was in attendance, joined by friends and family of the victims, as the names of each passenger and crew were read in their honor. That followed by the laying of wreaths at the Wall of Names to commemorate the brave souls aboard United Flight 93 who decided to not only fight back, but ultimately sacrifice their lives when they forced al-Qaeda hijackers to crash the plane in an open field. We heard from the father of Todd Beamer, who was famously heard saying, "Let's roll," before storming the cockpit. Beamer's father says he'll never forget the horror of that day, adding it's the bravery that sticks out most.
It was a day that we all remember, a horrific day, but we also remember that what some people had the opportunity to do that day was to fight back. Todd and the 40 free people on Flight 93 did just that. They didn't anticipate a call to duty and that kind of action that day, but they took it, heard it, and did it.
And the First Lady says it's that bravery and the grief that followed that holds us up as a nation and continues to help us move forward today.
This is the legacy we must carry forward. Hope that defies hate. Love that defies loss. And the ties that hold us together through it all.
And for the first time since 2019, thousands of visitors were welcomed through the gates of the United Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville to take in the stories of bravery and heroism displayed on September 11, 2001. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
It was a little bit cooler today, kind of pleasant. Hopefully that continues. Sam?
It sure was. It was a nice day out there for September, more normal around here instead of the 90s that we've been dealing with. We even had some rainfall earlier this morning, but radar is clear right now. We made it up to 77 degrees this afternoon, which was below normal of 84. We started out at 57, which was also below normal of 61. But look at this, we can still be around 100 degrees this time of year. Back in 2000, we were 100. I think we're going to be closer to 44 by tomorrow morning. That was back in 1968. We only picked up less than 1/10 of an inch of rain, and for the month we're a little over 1/3 of rain over the entire month so far. We desperately need some more rainfall. Temperatures this afternoon were very pleasant across the area, generally in the mid-70s, even a few 80s thrown in like at Chanute and Neodesha and Parsons. A little bit cooler off to the east over in Stockton, where they were 75 degrees this afternoon. I'll be back with a look at your forecast, so you want to stay tuned because it does show some hotter weather on its way.
Ukraine continues to relish in the apparent Russian troop withdrawal from the Kharkiv region, as Russia claims it's moving its soldiers to focus on the liberation of Donbass. Fox News correspondent Jeff Paul has more from Kyiv, Ukraine.
200 days at war in Ukraine is marking the moment, with significant gains reclaiming territory in the south and in the east. And as Ukraine's counteroffensive continues, Russia is now pulling back its troops to focus on the Donbass. As many as 30 settlements in the Kharkiv region are now back in the hands of Ukrainian forces. Left behind Russian tanks now dot the landscape as Ukrainian soldiers raise Ukrainian flags high above for all to see. All of this happening as international attention focuses on the future of the Zaporizhzhia power plant, Europe's largest nuclear power facility. A site of heavy shelling, the power plant was finally reconnected to the power grid. That will allow engineers to safely shut down the last operational reactor as fighting continues in the region. Amid these two major developments in the war, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky discussed the future of the conflict.
I believe that this winter is a turning point, and it can lead to the rapid deoccupation of Ukraine. We see how the Russian forces are fleeing in different directions. If we were a little stronger with weapons, we could deoccupy faster.
President Zelensky also paid tribute to the victims of 9/11, with today being the 21st anniversary. He says Ukraine knows all too well what terrorism is, saying that it has no place in the modern world. In Kyiv, Ukraine, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
My Star Wars fans, you're going to want to stick around because the newest season of The Mandalorian is around the corner. We'll have a look. My Star Wars lovers, you're going to love this. The trailer for the new season of The Mandalorian has arrived. It was unveiled at Disney's D23 Expo on Saturday. The popular action series with the bounty hunter and lovable Baby Yoda wrapped up its second season in December of 2020. In the finale, the title character and Grogu were separated. The two reunited in a spin-off series, The Book of Boba Fett. The new season of The Mandalorian starts streaming in 2023 on Disney+. And Sam Lane will join us for the next look at the weather after this. And later, the Cardinals were on the road today against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Highlights in sports.
Sports time, it's weather time. Let's take a look outside right now at Seneca, Missouri. You can see that it's a pleasant evening across the region, including down there in McDonald County at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, and all across the entire four-state area. We had much cooler temperatures today because of that cold front that moved through. Radar is all clear. I wish we could say we got more precipitation, but it looks like the bulk of that was to the north, up in northeastern Kansas and also up in Bates County, extending up towards Columbia. We did get a little bit of rain here in Joplin, less than 1/10 of an inch, really not a whole lot. And then also off to the east, they got a little bit more rainfall over there near Rolla. Lake levels are suffering as a result of the drought that's ongoing. Right now, Grand Lake is a little bit over a foot below normal, and Beaver Lake is around 1 1/3 below normal, and Table Rock Lake is about 3 feet below normal. But the Champion is up in Stockton. They're currently 4, almost 5 feet below normal and their lake levels. So we desperately need some rainfall to start filling up some of these rivers and streams to help out our lakes. The rainfall did help a little bit with the allergies today. 7.9 out of 12 tomorrow. We're going to go right back up to around 10. Most of that, of course, is ragweed and chenopop. Temperatures right now, very nice, very pleasant. It's time to open up the windows and enjoy the nice weather. 58 in Neodesha right now for one of the coolest readings, 59 in Parsons, 58 in Pittsburgh. Check out Stockton. They're currently down to 57 degrees on the hour. Currently in Joplin, it's 62, feels like 62. That dew point of 47, that's a good indication of where we're headed tonight. I don't think we're going to see 47, but it's going to be pretty close. With calm winds and light winds, that's going to help with the temperatures dropping like a rock tonight. How low are we going to go? Well, lower 50s for most of the area. Wouldn't be surprised to see some 40s in there too in some of the colder sheltered valleys. 53 by 7 a.m., 50 in Howard, 50 in Coffeyville, 50 down in Jay, a pretty popular number. Then tomorrow we're going to see mostly sunny skies, westerly winds, and temperatures in the mid to upper 80s in southeastern Kansas, including Parsons with 86, 80 over Neosho, and in the 70s in Cassville. Then as we go through Monday night into Tuesday morning, once again, lows in the 50s, but a little bit warmer, 57 in Joplin, 53 in Nevada. Pick out your hometown and check out your low temperature. Then as we go through the day on Tuesday, we're going to see a weak boundary up to the north, really not going to do too much. We're going to see temperatures in the 90s out to the west, upper 80s here on our area. Then as we go through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, lows once again in the 60s across our area. Still a pleasant morning for most folks. Your 7-day forecast looks like this. Tomorrow, 84, 90 on Tuesday, 91 on Wednesday, and you can kind of see what goes on there. 90s all the way to next weekend with an isolated storm on Sunday possible, but don't get your hopes up. Instead, we're going to see even warmer weather next week, and we could see record highs around here by the middle of next week. So summer keeps hanging on for dear life.
Well, you had asked the question, how low can you go? Well, clearly not low enough.
That's right. We're going to enjoy tonight, and then it's going to be back into the heat.
Yeah, break the shorts and short sleeves back out. Well, all right. Thank you, Sam. And coming up in sports, Albert Pujols keeps on climbing the home run list. Plus, the Chiefs are back, taking on the Cardinals in Week 1. Danny Terzer has those highlights next.
We've been waiting and waiting some more, but the Kansas City Chiefs kick off their season on the road this afternoon. Kansas City is at Arizona today. Patrick Mahomes connects with Travis Kelce on the opening possession for the first touchdown of the season. Later in the first, Mahomes throws a shovel pass to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He walks it in for 6. Second quarter, 4th and 2 for Kansas City. Edwards-Helaire wide open. 3 touchdowns on their first 3 possessions. Chiefs lead 20-7. They really start to pull away. Mahomes finds Jody Fortson in the back of the end zone. They keep pouring it on. This time, McCole Hardman gets involved. 2-yard touchdown. Count them up, Mahomes throws 5 touchdown passes, and the Chiefs dominate the Cardinals 44-21. At the college level, Oklahoma takes care of business against Kent State on Saturday. The Sooners roll to victory 33-3, but it was a slow start for Oklahoma. They scored their first points of the game just seconds before halftime. Then they got going. Dylan Gabriel threw for 296 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game.
Proud of our guys for, again, coming out the second half and really playing complimentary football. Still, again, there's, especially on defense, a lot of things that we need to do better. But at the end of the day, that's the fewest points that we've allowed against an FBS opponent since 2017.
The Oklahoma State Cowboys improved to 2-0 this week, following a 34-17 win over Arizona State. Head coach Mike Gundy says the Cowboys made some necessary adjustments this week, including in the run game. The Oklahoma State rushing attack was led by Dominic Richardson. He had 27 carries for 131 yards and a touchdown.
We were able to rush the ball effectively. We ran the ball for 4.3 a carry. 4.5 is what we're looking for, but much better rushing the football. And we're much more physical in the second half. Our running backs broke some tackles in key third downs and situations to keep us going, keep the drive alive. When 6, 8, 10 minutes to go in the game, could have stopped us a couple times, but our backs ran through and made plays.
The Week 3 college football rankings were released today, and there's a new number 1 team in the nation. Georgia and Alabama switch places at the top of the poll. Oklahoma jumps up to number 6. Down a bit further in the rankings in 8th is the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Arkansas jumps up 6 spots and rounds out the top 10. And I have to shout out Kansas State just outside the top 25. The Wildcats get 77 votes. They're 2-0 following a 40-12 win over Missouri. In the MLB, St. Louis has a comfortable lead in the National League Central Division with less than a month of regular season play remaining. The Cardinals on the road today, closing out a series in Pittsburgh. Series tied at 1 game apiece. Cardinals struggling early against Mitch Keller. He gets Tommy Edman swinging, and then Corey Dickerson goes down on strikes. Skip to the 7th. Jack Sawinski goes deep for a solo home run. Pirates up 2-0. To the 9th, St. Louis trying to rally, and guess who delivers? Albert Pujols' 2-run shot for the lead. 697 career home runs. He passes Alex Rodriguez and moves into 4th place on the all-time list behind Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, and Babe Ruth. Pujols seals the Cardinals' win 4-3, the final. Royals try to avoid getting swept at home today. Scoreless in the first, runners on the corners for Nick Prado. He pops it up to left. Bobby Witt Jr. scores. Next inning, Drew Waters jams it in the corner for a bases-clearing double. Royals extend their lead now 3-0. They add more here in the 4th. Michael Massey cranks a solo shot to right. And the Kansas City defense pulling their weight today. Prado makes the stop, scurries to the bag for the out. Royals blank the Tigers 4-0. That's a look at sports. We'll be right back.
A New Mexico bull rider is getting recognized after becoming a world champion. But get this, he's just 9 years old. And Sasha Leninger has more.
At just 9 years old, a Lovington boy is making his name known. Meet Parker Hooks.
I like dangerous sports.
Parker is a world champion bull rider after winning at the Youth Bull Riders World Finals. And this stream started after a trip to the fair with his grandparents.
They took me to the Lee County Fair here, and I watched the bull riding. I liked it. I wanted to do it, but I couldn't because I was only 2.
But he didn't let his size stop him.
I watched some video on YouTube, and then one day they let me ride sheep here at the fair.
And then he started riding small bulls. And his words of advice to himself as he's riding?
Just stay on.
And he did, earning himself the title of world champion and this buckle, which he's not allowed to wear to school because Mom says so.
Rodeo, it's like a different sport. Everybody's nice to you. It don't matter what skin color you are, they just are nice to you.
His goal to ride bigger bulls one day and become a pro.
I have a lot of favorite bull riders. My first one is Ezekiel Mitchell, and then Stetson Wright.
In the meantime, riding the bulls and enjoying the ride to the pros. One bull and buckle at a time.
Yeah, I don't really follow bull riding, but I'll make sure to follow his career moving forward.
Absolutely. He certainly lasts longer than 8 seconds.
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure. All right,
we have
Sam.
a nice day tomorrow on the forecast. We're going to look at temperatures in the mid-80s, but then we start on the upswing and summer comes back with temperatures in the 90s and lows in the 60s. And unfortunately, that continues all the way out into the extended. And I'm even forecasting a record high of 98 as we go towards next week. So the heat continues, and so does the drought, unfortunately, Jalen.
Yeah, that's been the theme of the summer, and I guess now extending into the fall.
Yes,
Fall.
The long-range forecast looks like it's also going to remain warmer than normal and drier than normal. So hopefully we can get some rain in here, but it's not looking good at this point.
Yeah, there was some rain in Chicago today.
Lots of, excuse me, yeah, lots of rain up there in Chicago. I wish we could get some of that down here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here next time. KOAM News is going to be on in the morning, and we'll see you here next weekend. Have a good one.